Kanisha Nealy's story is one of trust, devotion, and a tragic ending that no one saw coming. A dedicated nurse known for her kindness, she believed in second chances, even for those society had written off. She saw the good in people, even in places most wouldn't dare to look. That belief led her to Moses Chisholm's, a man serving time behind bars. Despite his past, she fell in love with him, standing by his side when few others would. Against the warnings of friends and family, she gave him her heart, her home, and a chance at a new life. At first, everything seemed perfect. Moses was finally free, and the two were ready to build a future together. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming, cracks that would soon shatter everything. The man Kanisha thought she knew was hiding something dangerous. And when the truth finally came out, it was too late. What happened behind closed doors in the months that followed would leave a community in shock and a family in mourning. The fresh start she had fought so hard for would turn into a nightmare no one could have predicted. Kanisha Nealy spent her whole life helping other people. She was a kind and hardworking nurse who was known for going above and beyond for her patients. People who worked with her said she was caring and always put other people's needs ahead of her own. For the people who knew her best, she was more than just a carer. She was a rock who would always be there for the people she loved. But Kanisha had been having a hard time behind her friendly smile. Her heart had been broken and relationships had failed, so she was looking for something real. She never gave up on love, no matter what. She believed in second chances and believed that people could change if they were given the right support. She went to see Moses Chisholm because she was sure of it. While Moses was in prison for 12 years for serious crimes, they kept in touch virtually. Some people knew about his past, but not many. His record was bad enough to keep him in jail for more than 10 years. Still, Kanisha could feel something about him that other people didn't. By writing letters and calling late at night, he tried to show that he had learnt from his mistakes. In his words, he wished to improve and change his life. She also thought of him. For months, they got to know each other through letters and phone calls. Moses knew just what to say to Kanisha to make her believe that they could have a new beginning together. He talked about lessons he had learned, things he felt bad about, and how eager he was to prove himself outside of prison. He told her that he was not the same person he used to be. Moses had been locked up for years and had no contact with the outside world. He wasn't new to a life of crime, but it was there that he learned how to stay alive. Others were able to get away with brute force, but Moses used charm. He knew just what to say and how to say it. Also, he saw his chance when he talked to Kanisha. At first, it seemed he was a changed man who had repented from his life of crime. He talked about his desire for a future outside of prison, making amends, and learning from his mistakes. Every word was carefully chosen to make Kanisha feel good about herself. He promised her the truth, love, and a life free of his mistakes. The ties got stronger very quickly. Kanisha was sure she had found the person she had been looking for, even though they had never met in real life. Against all odds, she started to like the man who was in jail. She married him, even though people advised her to reconsider her desires, and there were risks involved. This decision would change her life forever. The ceremony was simple and took place inside the jail. Two people who had never really lived together or shared a house came together. She didn't listen to the continuous complaints from her family and friends. She was sure of her feelings. Kanisha was ready for Moses to come back when he was free. Her arms were wide open, ready to start a new life with him. At first, everything looked good. They got used to being married and made a plan. The rest of the world saw them as just another couple trying to make a future for themselves. However, things were not as good as they seemed behind closed doors. The cracks started out small. Moses started to want things for himself and became bossy. The man had been talking about love and forgiveness, but now he showed a different side. He began to find fault in everything Kanisha did and insisted on knowing where she was and who she was with. Along with his jealousy, his temper grew. Soon after, his behavior became less stable. He became more hostile, and his mood changed all the time. What seemed like small disagreements turned into battles. Moses wasn't the man Kanisha fell in love with when he talked to her anymore. He was mean and full of anger. The first clear sign of serious trouble occurred in December 2023. They got into a very violent fight. Moses had been drinking too much and expressed his anger physically. Kanisha called the police. When the authorities arrived, she was badly hurt and scared. Moses was arrested and accused of second-degree kidnapping, assault of a female, and interference with emergency communications. This would have been the turning point for most people. Some would have picked this time to walk away, but Kanisha was unable to do it. Even though he was hurt and scared, she still believed in him. She bailed him out of police custody and welcomed him back to her house. Her family and friends were desperate. They begged her to leave him before it was too late. She still wouldn't pay attention though. She stuck to the belief that the man she started to like was still deeply troubled by anger and violence. Moses knew this. He lied to her because he knew she really wanted to trust him. He made her feel better by telling her it was a mistake and would never happen again. She thought she should believe him. The reality, though, was far more dangerous than she could have dreamed. It got worse for Moses over the next few weeks. Once pleasant words became nasty insults, the light touches started to feel like threats. He used to make the house feel safe, but now his presence made it scary. Her friends and family noticed how she changed. They no longer saw the sure of herself, smart woman they knew. That made her pull back and look worried. Still, she stayed. She promised herself she would hold on to the man she thought she knew, but love wasn't enough to save her, and Moses was about to show how dangerous he really was. August 4th, 2024 began like any other night, but by morning, everything had changed. An argument at Kanisha Nealy's house turned into something much worse. Later, neighbors said they remembered hearing voices that were loud, filled with anger and heated. Then the gun arrived. The quiet that followed was intolerable. When the police got there, it was too late. Kanisha was lying dead, having been killed by the man she had fought so hard to save. And Moses? He killed himself by turning the gun on himself as a last, terrible act. The crime scene looked like a terrible place to be. Kanisha's dead body was found in the living room. It was limp and not moving. Moses was only a few feet away, and he still had the murder in his hand. It was a murder-suicide, the police said. The terrible event only took a few seconds, but it will always have effects. The neighborhood was rocked by the news that spread quickly. People who knew Kanisha well had been worried about this, but no one thought it would end this way. Believing in atonement and that love might transform a man, she had given everything to assist Moses. In the end, though, it cost her everything. It broke the hearts of her friends and family. As a nurse, this woman worked hard to save lives. She had spent her whole life helping other people. Still, the man she had defended, who had barricaded herself in her house, was now the thing that was pushing her away. The betrayal was hard to understand. A strong response came from the public right away. Some people wondered how this could have happened. Some people said it was the court's fault for releasing Moses. Others talked about how dangerous it is to trust someone with such a terrible past and not pay attention to warning signs. The case led to conversations about women who marry prisoners because they think they can change them. It got crazy on social media. "She deserved better," one commenter said. "This is why you shouldn't ignore the warning signs," another added. The tragedy turned into a story that taught a lesson. Some people thought Kanisha was a victim of a broken system, while others thought she was dead wrong to trust the wrong man. Then darker elements started to show. There was violence in Moses' past, which Kanisha may not have entirely known. Court papers showed that restraining orders from ex-partners had been issued in the past. If she had known everything, would she have still taken the risk? It was discussed by psychologists who said the prison illusion is the dangerous belief that love and loyalty can change the minds of prisoners. A lot of women fall for the idea that they can fix someone, but most of the time, it ends in tragedy. After that, Kanisha wrote her last Facebook post, a clear but mysterious message that sends chills down people's spines when they think about it now. One thing is for sure. The woman who worked her whole life to save other people couldn't save herself from the man she loved. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.